Right. So we have all sinned. We are all infinitely guilty because we have sinned against God, the creator of the universe,
Mm-hmm.
And we are therefore deserving of punishment.
Yeah. And to go into that a little bit more, like the reason that, well, from my understanding, the reason that we are punished because of our sin is because God is perfect, right? And he's holy, there's nothing,
Right.
there's no blemishes, there's nothing, and such perfection cannot coincide with imperfection.
A perfect God and perfect judge would not let a sinner go free, essentially.
Well, he would not as imperfect people, we cannot go to God, or we cannot go to God, right?
Mm.
But he has set up a system. But through the Old Testament, they had a system of covering forward sins, or covering sins by the blood,
By sacrifices.
by blood, and God would use those sacrifices as a way to, or as a covering for the sin.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was pushed forward to when Jesus died on the cross, and now he has covered us once and for all.
Right. So they used to have to do a whole bunch of sacrifices for every little thing, and then they had a few that they had to do every year for every person, and all these sacrifices going on. Jesus ends up being the one sacrifice that we need forever.
Mm-hmm. Because normally without Jesus, we could not go to God because we are imperfect and he is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But because of the sacrifice, God has washed away our sins. And if we live in accordance to his will, we can be his sons and daughters.
Right. So essentially, probably many of you who are watching this are familiar with this, but this is essentially like what I would call like Christian 101.
Yeah. It's
like this is the core, but this is like the basics. Like this is, Paul would have described it as the elementary principles. Like this is the basic stuff. This is the stuff, the very beginning of what you are taught as a Christian or before you become a Christian, right? Is that Christ died for us, and because of that, and only because of that, we have an opportunity to be saved.
Mm-hmm. And without having the connection towards God, we would be internally separated from him, and eternal separation from God is by definition hell.
Hey, thanks for watching. This clip came from an episode of our podcast, which we will have a link in the description below for you to watch the full thing, see more discussion about this topic and other topics.